Chosen ones, your time here is up, not in fear, not in sadness, but in revelation. What has come to pass has shaped you. What you've endured has refined you. And what stands ahead, though unseen, is more real than the soil beneath your feet. This place was never meant to hold you forever. It was a preparation ground, a forging fire, and a divine classroom. And now, the bell has rung. Graduation has come. The path beneath your feet is shifting, because the one who called you has completed the blueprint. The foundation is finished. The architecture of your next reality is no longer in planning. It is built, blessed, and beckoning. There's something powerful about final moments. They sharpen your soul, awaken the senses, and strip away everything that doesn't matter. You've likely felt it, the stirring within, the signs without, the unusual peace that makes no sense to your mind but feels like home to your spirit. You are not imagining it. This chapter is closing, and in this sacred pause, before the page turns, you're being invited to exhale, to surrender, and to believe. As you watch this video, I invite you to open your heart fully and let its message resonate deeply. If you feel it, write your warmest wishes in the comments and the number 77 to ignite the universal energy of transition. This is the moment when intentions align and what you've long carried in your soul begins to materialize in divine timing. Now, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive deeper. You have always known that this world wasn't truly home. There were signs in your childhood dreams, whispers in quiet moments, and a restlessness that no achievement could satisfy. You felt the echo of another realm, one with clarity instead of confusion, light instead of shadow, truth instead of illusion. That echo wasn't a fantasy. It was a divine memory of a place God has now prepared for you, not as an escape, but as a reward, not as a goodbye, but as an ascension. And every moment you've lived, every test you've passed, every scar you carry, it all served this very purpose, to ready you for the arrival. The next place is not bound by the limitations you've come to accept as normal. There is no fear there. There is no decay. The loneliness that haunted you like a ghost will dissolve like mist in the morning sun. There, you will remember who you are without distortion. You will see what you've built with your obedience. The next place is prepared because your soul is finally ready to enter. It is not random. It is custom built by the very force that sculpted galaxies and numbered your hairs. What comes next is not fantasy. It's the fulfillment of divine architecture. But make no mistake, the crossing over is not about disappearance. It's about fulfillment. The calling that kept pulling at you even when you wanted to give up. It was a signal from this very place. You weren't crazy for believing there was more. You were chosen to carry that belief when others abandoned it. You were chosen to protect the sacred, to walk the lonely road, to endure ridicule, to stand in faith when logic demanded retreat. And now your faith has become sight. The unseen has become seen. The whispered promise has become a manifested path. You may ask, what does this mean for the life I've built here, for the people I've loved, the places I've planted seeds, the memories I've made? Let me tell you this, nothing good is ever lost. Everything drenched in love becomes eternal. The next place is not about losing, it's about magnifying. The love you gave multiplies. The beauty you cherished deepens. The promises you held onto, even with trembling hands, are fulfilled. This world was a rehearsal. The next is the performance. There is no need to fear the unknown, when the unknown was written by the same hand that carved your soul. Let that sink in. Your journey is not ending. It's expanding. The shell is cracking because the life inside has grown too great to be contained. This is not death. It's release. Not a conclusion, but a continuation at a higher frequency. The veil is lifting, and on the other side is a place where you are fully seen, fully known, and fully celebrated. The signs were always there. The moments you felt time stop, the flashes of déjà vu, the synchronicities that made no logical sense. These were not coincidences. They were breadcrumbs leading you to this very moment. You are not being punished. You are being called. You are not being rejected. You are being elevated. The next place is not for the masses. It's for the marked. And you, chosen one, have been marked from the beginning. So take this moment seriously, not with fear, but with awe, not with despair, but with deep reverence. What lies ahead is not a dream you chase, but a home that is chasing you, and it's closer than you think. You don't need to do more to earn it. You only need to allow it. Release the old skin. Let go of the roles you played to survive. They are not needed where you are going. You won't need to prove anything. You'll just be. Fully, radiantly, eternally. There are things that words cannot capture, truths that language stumbles to express. But your soul knows. You know that this moment is real. You feel it in your chest, in the pause between breaths, in the spaces between thoughts. You are being summoned. This isn't a metaphor. This is a spiritual relocation. And when you arrive, everything will make sense. The delays, the heartaches, the losses, the loneliness. They were not detours. They were doors. And now, they're opening. What does it feel like when your name is called beyond the veil? It is not a voice like thunder, not always a vision wrapped in gold. It is more subtle. It feels like peace when there should be panic. It feels like clarity in the middle of confusion. It feels like knowing, deep, silent knowing, that something is shifting beneath your feet, even if the world around you looks the same. That knowing is not to be ignored. It's a whisper from the eternal, a gentle touch from the hand of God saying, "You've done what you came to do. Now come see what I've prepared." Not everyone will feel this. Not everyone is called forward at the same time. But you, chosen one, feel it now because your chapter is sealed. You've walked through the fire, not to burn, but to be made pure. You've learned to wait when the world rushed. You've learned to listen when silence was all you had. And you've discovered that in your stillness, God speaks. You've grown beyond the shape of this place. You're not being pushed out. You're being drawn upward. The invitation is not about escape. It's about alignment. The place prepared for you is not a distant fantasy. It is vibrating closer with every breath you take. It meets you in your highest truth. It has no room for what you've outgrown. The masks, the roles, the coping, those fall away here. In the next place, your essence is enough. Not your performance, not your perfection. Just the soul you fought to keep alive through every trial. Let's be honest. There were moments you almost gave up. You questioned the path. You screamed at the silence. You asked why the pain wouldn't stop. And yet, you stayed. You endured. You kept going. That wasn't weakness. That was sacred strength. That was faith in motion. And that faith has now reached its harvest. You are stepping into the answer to prayers you forgot you prayed, into a realm that doesn't just match your dreams, it was made from them. You won't need to carry the weight anymore. The burdens that bent your back, the doubts that stole your sleep, the fears that caged your mind, none of them will follow you into the next place. They have no access. Their assignment over you has expired. You've passed the test. And now, what belongs to you by divine design is unlocking, not because you demanded it, but because you are finally resonating at the frequency of its arrival. There are those who will not understand your transition. They will cling to the version of you they knew, the one who fit in the limitations of the past. Let them go. Release them with love, but do not shrink to comfort their vision. You are no longer who you were. Your inner landscape has been remade. Your spirit speaks a new language now, one that only those in alignment can hear. You're not being arrogant. You're answering a call that was always yours. The next place will not resemble the previous one in form, but it will echo the truth you always sensed. Time behaves differently there. Energy obeys a higher order. You don't chase joy, you embody it. You don't seek answers, you become the revelation. In this sacred shift, you stop asking what if and start walking in what is. The veil between dimensions becomes a doorway, and your arrival is not an intrusion, it is an unveiling. You are not ascending to escape suffering. You are ascending because suffering has completed its purpose. It has carved out the capacity for divine peace. Pain has softened your heart, not broken it. Trials have chiseled away everything that wasn't truly you. And what remains is holy. What remains is the version of you that God always knew would emerge. This is the you that cannot be controlled by systems, that cannot be broken by disappointment, that cannot be deceived by illusions. You will not need permission to take your place. The gates open as you approach because they recognize your frequency. They know your walk. They've waited for your arrival. And when you enter, you'll feel the resonance. You'll remember. You'll feel the sacred familiarity, as if the walls themselves were humming your name. You were never meant to stay where you were. You were meant to move from glory to glory, from assignment to fulfillment, from question to clarity. So breathe deep, chosen one. The shift is already happening. Don't resist it with logic. Don't delay it with doubt. What's unfolding is not for your mind to analyze. It's for your spirit to receive. Let it wash over you like a rising tide. Let it carry away what no longer belongs. Let it awaken what you buried beneath years of survival. This is not just a transition. It's a transformation. And in this transformation, you will find yourself weeping not from sorrow, but from recognition. The tears you shed won't be for what you're leaving. They'll be for what you're finally stepping into. For the first time, you'll feel what it means to be truly seen, not just by others, but by the source of all things. The gaze of God is not judgmental. It is joyful. It looks upon you now and sees the masterpiece revealed. The next place isn't something you're begging for. It's something you've already inherited. And what a home it is. It holds your laughter before it was ever spoken. It carries your name in songs you've never heard but have always longed for. It is more real than your memories, more present than your thoughts. You've glimpsed it in dreams, in flashes, in moments of divine stillness. Now it's no longer a glimpse, it's the view. And you're ready. You don't have to do anything to deserve it. You only have to say yes. The doors are open. You were never forgotten, not for 1 second. Even when the silence grew heavy and the sky seemed deaf, you were being watched with divine intent. Every breath you took in surrender, every tear you offered in secret, every moment you chose to rise when all you wanted was to fall. These were not overlooked. They were recorded, not on paper, but on the walls of eternity. The next place has been shaped in part by these very moments. Your sacrifices did not disappear into nothingness. They were seeds. And now, the harvest is prepared. You don't have to prove your worth to enter. The fact that you are still standing proves everything. You've endured storms that would have shattered others. You've kept a light alive when the world grew dark. The scars you carry are not symbols of weakness. They are sacred stamps of endurance. In the next place, those scars shine. They become marks of honor in a realm where only truth survives. The masks fall away. The pain that once spoke louder than your voice now becomes the background to a deeper music. And oh, what music it is! The next place is not silent. It sings, softly at first, then louder with every step you take toward it. You may not hear it with your ears, but your soul feels it. That vibration in your chest, that sudden peace in your mind, that shiver down your spine when you least expect it. These are echoes of the symphony that welcomes you home. Not a final home, but a fuller one. Not the end of the road, but a road where the terrain changes from survival to celebration. The shift won't be announced with thunder. It'll feel more like a deep exhale after a lifetime of holding your breath. Things that once felt urgent will fall away. People who once mattered deeply may begin to fade, not in anger, but in clarity. This is how it's meant to be. The weight you carried wasn't just yours. You bore the weight of lineages, of ancestors, of old wounds and sacred destinies. But now, the torch is passed, and you are free. Don't look for confirmation from others. Most will not see it. This transition isn't visible to the unawakened eye. They'll look at you and see the same person. But you'll know. You'll feel the difference in how you breathe, how you think, how you perceive the world. You'll stop reacting to things that used to trigger you. You'll find it hard to fake energy. You'll begin to crave the sacred, the still, the space where truth lives unfiltered. This is how you know the old container is breaking. And it must break, because what is inside you is now too vast to be contained in what was. Your identity has expanded. Your soul has outgrown the walls it once called home. This is why it's been uncomfortable. The tightness, the restlessness, the sense that something was ending, but you couldn't put it into words. It wasn't your imagination. It was your spirit stretching toward its origin. It was the gravity of God pulling you higher. You will start to see through the illusions, the noise of the world, the distractions that once hypnotized you. They will lose their grip. The truth will rise in you like the sun, illuminating every corner of your life. You'll begin to see the divine pattern that connected every loss, every betrayal, every miracle. The pain had a place, the silence had a reason, the waiting had a purpose. It all led to this, a clarity that cannot be taken, a peace that cannot be faked. Others may try to bring you back into their storms, but you no longer live there. You'll learn to bless them from a distance. You'll know that the next place doesn't allow certain frequencies, and you'll stop apologizing for protecting your peace. You've earned it. You've bled for it. You've wept for it. And now, you're being crowned with it. There is no map for where you're going, because no one has walked your exact path. The next place is not a location, it's a vibration. It's a reality sculpted for your soul alone. Your entrance activates it. Your arrival completes it. It doesn't need to be explained. It needs to be embraced. And once you do, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. People feel it, rooms feel it, even nature will respond to your new presence. The chosen don't enter places, they awaken them. This is why you felt so different your entire life. This is why you couldn't follow the crowd, why you felt out of sync with the world's rhythm. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to transcend. The ache you carried was homesickness for a place your body never knew, but your soul never forgot. And now, that homesickness is being satisfied, not by something outside of you, but by a reuniting within you. You may start dreaming more vividly, seeing more clearly, hearing what others dismiss. These are not coincidences. These are recalibrations. Your senses are aligning with the realm you are stepping into. The veil is thinning, and what was once unseen is now becoming visible. You'll see signs in places you never noticed before. Numbers, patterns, words, moments. Everything becomes a message. Nothing is random anymore. There may be moments where you feel like you're standing between two worlds. That's because you are. The old still echoes, but the new is rising. Don't rush it. Just let the transition unfold. It knows what to do. You don't have to orchestrate it. You simply have to yield. Rest, trust, breathe. You've done the heavy lifting. Now it's time to receive. And as you receive, you'll realize you've never been alone. The help that always felt far away was closer than breath. Angels, guides, divine allies. They've been assigned to you since the beginning. They've wept when you wept. They've celebrated when you rose. And now they rejoice because the completion has come. The circle has closed. The preparation has ended. And the unveiling has begun. The next place is real, and it's ready. There comes a moment known only to the soul and its creator when the time to remain is over. It doesn't arrive with fanfare or external validation. It arrives in quiet certainty. You feel it in your bones, in the spaces between your thoughts. A whisper that becomes a roar, not in volume, but in clarity. It is time. Not because you've failed where you are, not because the world no longer needs you, but because your assignment here has been fulfilled. You were never meant to be planted in one place forever. Chosen ones are never stagnant souls. You are messengers of movement, carriers of divine evolution. That's why you've never been comfortable in what others called settled. Even at rest, something in you stirred. Even in comfort, something in you longed. That longing wasn't weakness. It was the call of your next becoming. This next place is not a promotion by human standards. It may not come with applause or recognition. It may not be visible to the eyes of those who only understand material success. But to your soul, it will feel like exhale. It will feel like being remembered by a future you once glimpsed but never fully touched. It will feel like coming home to a place that never stopped waiting for you. Understand this. Not everyone gets to walk into the next place. Some choose comfort over calling. Some turn back when the road becomes narrow. But you endured. You didn't let the confusion consume you. You didn't let the delay define you. You walked through valleys that tried to erase you. And now, because you stayed the course, the door opens, not because of chance, but because of design. Your presence in the next place will be disruptive, but in the most sacred way. You carry the codes of completion. You bring with you not just light, but resonance. You shift the energy of rooms by simply walking into them. You won't need to speak much. The weight of what you carry will speak for you. The peace you radiate will silence chaos. The clarity in your eyes will cause the lost to pause. You've become what many are still searching for, an awakened soul in full alignment. And that alignment came at a price. It cost you relationships. It cost you illusions. It cost you the version of yourself that used to need external validation to feel worthy. But now, you no longer seek to be understood. You are anchored in the knowing that your journey is orchestrated by the divine. You've stopped asking for the world's permission to evolve. You are no longer trying to explain yourself. You're simply becoming, again and again, until you are nothing but truth. This becoming cannot be undone. Once you've tasted the frequency of the next place, you cannot return to pretending. You cannot shrink to fit old narratives. You cannot engage in conversations that drain your essence. You cannot sit in rooms where your light is dimmed to protect egos. The next place demands the full expression of who you've always been underneath the pain, the programming, the pressure. You will feel the contrast more now. What is not aligned will become intolerable. You will be unable to stay where you once endured. This is not pride, it's clarity. You are not here to rescue what is unwilling to rise. You are not here to fight for spaces that never saw your worth. You are being pulled into divine alignment, not emotional attachment. And that alignment requires sacred boundaries. Let them go. The roles you've outgrown, the titles that limited you, the expectations that suffocated you. Let them fall away like autumn leaves, making space for the emergence of your eternal self. You are not dying, you are shedding. And what remains is the version of you that is finally light enough to rise. This is the moment when you stop surviving and start soaring. The wings you've carried all along are no longer hidden. They are ready. And flight doesn't mean leaving others behind. It means showing what's possible. It means being the evidence that new realms exist, that new paths are walkable, that freedom is not a myth. You are not escaping reality. You are stepping into a deeper one, a place where time serves you, not enslaves you, a place where energy responds to intention, where manifestations arrive not from effort, but from alignment. This is the frequency of fulfillment, where desire and destiny become one. The next place will not be without tests, but the tests will be different. They will no longer challenge your identity. They will challenge your capacity. Can you hold this much peace? Can you dwell in joy without guilt? Can you allow yourself to be fully present without needing a reason to be productive? Can you trust that ease is not laziness, but grace in motion? The world may call it fantasy. Let them. You are not here to prove the next place is real. You are here to embody it. You are a walking doorway between dimensions. You are a living reminder that the divine dwells not in temples made by hands, but in awakened hearts. Your life is becoming sacred architecture, carved by the very hand of God. And what's ahead, what waits for you, will not demand the exhaustion you once called success. It will not ask you to betray yourself to belong. It will not trade your soul for a salary or your purpose for praise. It will nourish you. It will reflect you. It will recognize you, because it was made for you. Every lesson, every loss, every moment of silence was part of the preparation. And now, the preparation is over. You're not being sent. You're being welcomed. This is not exile. It's invitation. You are not wandering. You are arriving. You are not alone. You are aligned. So take the step. Step into the place where your name has been etched into the walls since the beginning of time. The place where your essence is not only accepted, but celebrated. The place where everything finally makes sense. Not in words, but in presence. You are home. You are not crossing into the next place as a seeker. You are arriving as a keeper of sacred truths. Truths you earned through fire, silence, and unseen battles. You don't come empty-handed. You come carrying blueprints etched into your soul, not drawn with ink, but forged in surrender. You come with the memory of what it cost to say yes again and again, even when you were misunderstood, abandoned, or dismissed. You didn't just survive this journey, you transcended it. And that transcendence has marked you. You walk differently now, not with arrogance, but with awareness. You speak less because you've realized that the most powerful truths cannot be spoken. They are lived. You love more fiercely because you know how fleeting time is. You listen more deeply because you know that God speaks loudest in the quiet moments. You are entering a place where identity is no longer performance. You no longer have to prove yourself. You no longer have to fight to be seen. Your presence in this next realm is not a coincidence. It's covenant. You are called not because of your perfection, but because of your persistence. You were chosen, not because you knew the way, but because you never stopped looking for it. And now, the way reveals itself, not as a map, but as resonance. The people, the moments, the energy, they align, not through force, but through frequency. You are no longer chasing doors to open. You are becoming the door. You are no longer trying to find your path. You are the path others will find when they're ready. Not through your teachings, but through your becoming. In this next place, you will be known. Not by your past, not by your pain, but by your presence. You won't need to defend your light. It will simply illuminate. You won't need to explain your calling. It will be undeniable. The ones who are meant to walk with you in this space will recognize you, not by your words, but by the truth that radiates from your being. It will feel like remembrance, like reunion, like destiny breathing. This is why the old place began to feel heavy. It wasn't a failure, it was fulfillment. A seed cannot stay buried once the time to bloom has come. The discomfort wasn't punishment, it was divine agitation, shaking the soil around you so you would rise, and rise you have. What awaits you now is not ease for ease's sake. It's the natural flow of living aligned with what you were created for. No more fighting battles that weren't yours. No more fixing what was never meant to be whole. No more giving yourself away to feel needed. You are no longer a participant in the cycle of depletion. You are a steward of overflow. And from that overflow, you will create, connect, and rise, not for survival, but for expansion. Your gifts will activate in ways they never could in the old space. Your voice will carry frequency. Your presence will be medicinal. You will become a sanctuary for others simply because you've made peace within yourself. The next place will not look like what you expected, but it will feel exactly like what you always knew was possible. It will feel like walking into a memory you haven't made yet, but somehow never forgot. That feeling, that certainty, is not your imagination. It's your inheritance. This is not just a new location. It's a new dimension of existence. The rules are different here. Time bends to purpose. Connections transcend logic. Resources appear through obedience, not hustle. Guidance comes through intuition, not intellect. You will no longer measure your life by what you own, but by what you emanate. You won't need to convince yourself to rest. Your body will remember what it feels like to be supported. You won't need to force gratitude. It will rise naturally with each breath. You won't need to beg for clarity. It will unfold as you move in trust. That trust is your currency now. It's what unlocks the unseen. It's what builds what cannot be torn down. It's what makes the impossible inevitable. And as you walk deeper into the next place, you'll notice something profound. The fear you used to carry no longer recognizes you. The shadows that once intimidated you now back away in reverence. You have become too light for darkness to grip, too anchored to be swayed, too whole to be broken. Because you've remembered who you are. And not just remembered, you've returned to the design, the origin, the essence that was spoken over you before time wrapped itself around your form. You are not merely transitioning into something better. You are becoming something eternal. The next place is not your reward. It's your reflection. A reflection of all that grew in silence, of all that healed without an audience, of all that you sacrificed for alignment. It is sacred soil, ready to receive the fullness of who you are without shrinking you. And you won't just thrive there. You will build. You will anchor new realities. You will hold space for others who are on the cusp of their own crossing, not by carrying them, but by being a living invitation. A reminder that yes, the bridge between worlds exists, and yes, they can walk it too, because you did. You, the chosen one, the one who stayed when it hurt, the one who rose when it broke, the one who believed when nothing made sense. You are not just crossing, you are fulfilling prophecy. Welcome to the beginning of everything you've always been. You are not dreaming. This is real. What you've sensed, what you've carried in your spirit for so long, it was never a fantasy. It was a message planted deep within you from the beginning. The next place has always been there, woven into the very fabric of your design. And now, as time aligns with truth, it rises to meet you. Let this truth settle into your bones. Your time here is complete. There is nothing left undone, no part of your purpose in this realm that still requires your energy. You have poured out what was meant to be given. You have walked the path with reverence. You have spoken what was meant to be heard. The echoes of your faithfulness will linger long after your presence has moved on. And now, God calls you forward, not to escape, not to hide, but to ascend. This is not abandonment. This is fulfillment. This is not a farewell. This is a continuation. The realm you are leaving has been imprinted with your essence. You've changed things just by being here. You've awakened hearts, opened gates, and held torches for others to find their own light. But now, the torch passes to you once more. A brighter one. A flame designed to illuminate a space your eyes have not yet seen, but your soul has always known. You don't step into this place in fear. You walk in certainty. Certainty that what lies ahead has been tailored for your spirit. Certainty that what awaits you carries the signature of heaven. There will be a stillness before you enter, a holy pause. It will feel like silence, but it is sacred preparation. In that pause, don't doubt the movement. In that quiet, don't misinterpret the delay. It is the moment before divine unfolding. A hush before the heavens open wide. The breath the universe takes before releasing everything you've ever longed for, wrapped not in gold or grandeur, but in peace. A peace so whole, so complete, it silences every fear and confirms every promise. And when the doors swing open, when you cross the threshold into the place prepared for you, everything will make sense. The pain, the waiting, the separation, the things that broke your heart will no longer carry weight. The betrayals will lose their sting. The memories that once ached will feel like distant waves crashing gently against the shore of your new becoming. Because nothing from the old place can follow you here. Nothing that belongs to your former self can survive in the purity of this next space. Not the fear, not the guilt, not the shame. All of it stays behind, like shadows shrinking from the brilliance of morning light. What walks with you now is truth, strength, clarity, freedom, and love. A love deeper than what the world ever showed you. A love unfiltered by conditions. A love that doesn't ask you to change to be worthy. It simply recognizes you, and in doing so, restores every broken piece. This love has always been with you. But here, in this place, it becomes undeniable. You'll recognize those who belong in this new realm. Their spirits will feel familiar, not because you've met them before, but because they've walked a similar road. Their energy will not demand anything from you. It will honor you. They will not see you as a tool, a solution, or a savior. They will see you, just you. And that will be enough. Together, you will build, not for power, not for validation, but for beauty, for truth, for eternity. You will co-create with heaven, bringing light into places that have long been forgotten. Not because it's your job, but because it's your nature. You will not need a reason to shine. You will shine because that is who you are now. Radiance made real. In this next place, you will stop measuring your progress with human standards. You will stop chasing what was never meant to hold you. You will no longer feel the need to be understood by those who were never meant to journey with you. The striving ends, the struggle releases, the battle dissolves. Peace becomes your home. And from that place of peace, you will hear God more clearly, not because you are trying harder, but because there is less noise. You'll receive without needing to prove. You'll act without needing approval. You'll exist without needing explanation. That is the gift of this next realm, the return to divine simplicity, the unforced rhythm of grace. And when you look back, you will not see regret. You will see growth. You will see a story that was perfectly written. Every detour led you here. Every delay was a lesson. Every heartbreak was a cleansing. Every silence was a space for something greater to emerge. Chosen one, you've waited long enough. You've endured with courage, grieved with grace, grown in shadows. You've released more than you've received. You've sown more than you've reaped. And still, you've loved, you've believed, you've stayed. Now comes the return. Now comes the reward. But not as the world gives, not with shallow promises or temporary comforts. Number what's coming is eternal, unshakable, divine. A life lived not just with purpose, but in purpose. A joy that doesn't ask for permission. A presence that doesn't need validation. This is what you were born for, not just to witness the shift, but to become it. To embody the reality of heaven touching earth. To be the proof that what is unseen is more real than what can be touched. You are the testimony. You are the fulfillment. You are the messenger and the message. Chosen one, your time here is up, but your purpose is just beginning. God has prepared the next place. It is ready, and so are you. There is something sacred that happens when a soul finally accepts it was never meant to stay, not in the noise, not in the waiting rooms of other people's expectations, not in the patterns built for survival, but to rise, to step into the fullness of something designed from the very beginning, without compromise, without delay, without fear. You may feel the last remnants of the old reality trying to whisper back to you. You may still hear familiar voices, echoes of an identity you've outgrown, calling you by names you no longer answer to. Let them fade. You don't need to explain your departure to a world that was never your destination. You weren't made to settle for fragments. You were made for fullness. You weren't meant to conform. You were destined to transcend. The shift has already happened. It didn't come with trumpets or fanfare. It came in silence, in stillness, in the quiet moments when you finally said, enough. When you stopped trying to fit. When you let go of what was never meant to follow you. The choice was your own, and that was always the final key. Heaven was waiting for your yes, not a loud one, but a steady, unwavering yes from your soul. Now that you've given it, the path has cleared. The ground beneath you feels different because it is. The air you breathe carries a weightless wisdom. Time no longer drags you forward. It now bows to you. The heaviness that once clung to your shoulders doesn't belong here. It cannot hold in a space where only truth remains. The next place is not one of explanation. It's one of revelation. You won't need to define yourself anymore. The light within you will do that for you. Your very presence will speak for you. It will call to those who were always meant to find you, not in your striving, but in your being. You will attract not through effort, but through essence. You will notice a new rhythm, one that beats in time with your spirit. You will speak when the wind stirs within you. You will rest when you feel the pull of stillness. You will no longer need proof that you're on the right path. You will feel it in every step, every breath, every sacred yes you whisper. And in this new place, you will finally remember the truth. You were never forgotten. You were never off track. Every delay was divine. Every detour was a redirection. Even the pain had purpose. It carved space within you for something this immense, this beautiful, this eternal. The veil is lifting now, not in front of your eyes, but from within them. You don't just see differently, you are different. You've passed the test of becoming, and now the reality you were always aligned with is stepping forward to meet you, to embrace you, to clothe you in the colors of divine purpose. This is where legacy begins. Not the kind built in stone or status, but the kind that shifts frequencies, the kind that births change in silence, the kind that leaves an imprint on hearts, not headlines. You didn't come to be seen. You came to awaken. And now, you are the living invitation for others to rise. Some will not understand your glow. They will wonder how you remained radiant after so much fire. Let them wonder. Your journey was never meant to be validated by the world. It was meant to be ordained by heaven. And now that you've crossed over, no explanation is required. You will speak a new language, one of energy, of presence, of truth. The people who belong in your next place will not just hear you. They will feel you. They will recognize the vibration. They will stand taller in your presence, not because you made them, but because your alignment activates theirs. You are the light bearer, the realm shifter, the frequency holder. And because of that, the space you enter next will be made holy by your presence. Not because of pride, but because of purity. You carry with you the fire of transformation and the water of deep peace. You hold the earth of wisdom and the air of revelation. You have become the elements now. You are the balance. You are the bridge. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of what was always meant to be written. Where you go now, you do not go alone. All of heaven walks with you. The ancestors whisper your name in joy. The stars align in celebration. The very universe bends gently, joyfully, reverently to clear your path. You are no longer seeking alignment. You are alignment. You are no longer chasing purpose. You are purpose. And from this place, everything flows, without resistance, without doubt, without delay. Chosen one, the next place is already responding to your arrival. You've crossed over. Now rise.